Netflix was nice enough to show us a new poster for their One Piece show that they're going to be doing, which got me thinking all of the other anime adaptations that were in the past, future, and present, we need to talk about them. Hey guys, welcome to Nerding Out. My name is Amber, and today we are going to be talking about Netflix and their live-action adaptations of anime, whether they're good or bad. So Netflix has already announced that they have been working on a One Piece adaptation from the anime, which is hard enough to believe since it was like 1,000 episodes long. But they have decided to go ahead and do a season 1 at least of One Piece that is going to be 10 episodes long. So I don't know how far they're going to get with only 10 episodes. Though Netflix doesn't really have a very good track list of doing anime adaptations to live action, One Piece is something that you're really not going to want to mess up because, first off, it's a really big and popular anime. Second off, it has also been rumored to say that the creator of One Piece, Eiichiro Oda, is very involved in the project, so don't really want to piss off the creator himself. But with the track record that Netflix has for their anime adaptations, how good are the future and present ones going to actually be? Let's go back into the past and talk about their previous ones. So the first one that they tried to do was Death Note, and while Death Note is an older anime, it's stood the test of time as one of the most beloved animes of all time. Now the Netflix adaptation did not personally, in my opinion, do the anime or the manga justice. You had Light, who was this very cocky detective kind of guy who was very much believing that he was in the right for everything that he was doing. You had L, the actual detective, who was extremely smart and you couldn't really get things past him. Caught on really quick to what Light was doing in the show and in the books very quickly. Then you had the girl who was obsessed with the main character, who was the pop star and not so much ditzy, but just wasn't really like how they put her in the live action adaptation. In the live action adaptation, the love interest was more manipulative than what she was in the books. To say that she really wasn't that manipulative at all in the anime and the manga, but in this show they made her out to be like the individual that made up everything and was the head that ran everything. To where the main character, Light, was just kind of like a guy that was hanging out with her. And while L was really cool, I did like the way that they did him in the live action. I don't think that the writers did the character justice. The actor did a fantastic job of L as a character, and I really think that if he had the writing to back him up, he would have done a much better job. Then, of course, you have Cowboy Bebop, which is one of my favorite animes of all time, and you either love it or you hate it, or you hate it or you hate it. Now, the big thing that was bad with Cowboy Bebop is, yes, they did change a couple of things around, to whereas, like, Faye didn't really have any love interests in the show, and in this one they kind of gave her a love interest to have. And some of the characters had some characteristics that were not in the anime, but those weren't big enough to really make that much of a difference personally about what made the show not as good as the anime, which is really hard to do anyway because the anime still holds up to this day and is an amazing piece of work. They even got the Seatbelts and Yoko Kanno to do the music for the show, which definitely gave it the feel of Cowboy Bebop. But the problem is, like, the fight scenes and some of the storylines really didn't feel like a Cowboy Bebop, even though they pulled some of the anime episodes to do for the show. Like the Red Eye and things like that really just kind of fell flat. There's no real way to explain why it fell flat except for it just didn't feel like a Cowboy Bebop, although I can't do justice to the way that the show is done. There's a gentleman on TikTok that showed a video that what I think sums up the problems that was Cowboy Bebop. Take a look at Dan Tries TikTok and you'll see what I mean. So as he points out, the fighting and things like that, like the style that was Spike Spiegel, it didn't feel like Spike was fighting. Spike is much more energetic and like cocky, kicking around a lot and doing a bunch of Bruce Lee moves, and they didn't really do that in the show, so it didn't feel like that kind of character in it. And then you have the season 2 scene at the very end of the show, and as much as I really love the character Ed, I think they did a terrible job of representing her on the show. Now, I do not have a problem with them making it a they individual. That is completely not the point. what they did with Ed was they made them act and look like a crazy individual and not like the cutesy, I'm super smart and don't know how to communicate and not be over the top. But the one that they had at the end of the adaptation was more like a person that works for the black market people and does hacking and stuff like that, and just didn't feel like Ed. So with those two in mind as the past representations of the anime adaptations, now we are going to look into the two new ones, including the One Piece. So again, One Piece is already known to be out there. They have done the poster here that shows Luffy doing the raising of his fist. There have been pictures of them with the ship, which looks really good for the adaptation. Not much else is really known about it other than the creator of One Piece has been very close with the team working to make this. Now, the other one that they have announced is Avatar: The Last Airbender. They are going to be doing a live adaptation, and no, it's not M. Night Shyamalan doing it, so the names at least will be right in this one. Those are going to have 8 one-hour-long episodes of the show, and it is rumored to say that each episode of those 8 cost $15 million a piece. So at least it'll look pretty. Can't really do any worse than what the movie adaptation did for that show, so here's to doing The Last Airbender right. And now we get into the far, far, far in the future ones that they have discussed. And of course, Pokemon's going to have to be on that list. There's no information other than it is in the super early stages of this. They don't know when it's going to come out. They don't know what story they're doing. With Pokemon or Nintendo saying that Ash and Pikachu are no longer going to be the star of Pokemon, who's to say that it won't be them or will be them? We don't know. It's way too early to tell for that one. Now, another one on the list is Sword Art Online, which of course, whether you love it or hate it, it was a really good anime. They want to do the live action, and they've already said that it is going to be a full Japanese cast that's going to be do it. But other than that, there's nothing else that's really known about that show other than the cast is going to be Japanese. Let's hope they don't do what the series did, which you have your first 12 episodes that were excellent, chef's kiss, and then the last 12 episodes of the season, they didn't have enough budget to finish and do a good storyline. Can we say one of the strongest female characters in an anime being stuck in a cage the entire time? Come on. If you weren't raised in the 90s, you may not recognize this one, but Yu Yu Hakusho is going to be turned into a live-action version. That one is scheduled to be out sometime in 2023, like the other two that mentioned. Now again, not a lot has been said about the Yu Yu Hakusho one, only that they have only casted one individual. Hopefully that one does really well. I did not watch Yu Yu Hakusho that much when I was a kid, but I do know that the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho is married to the creator of Sailor Moon, which, if you don't know already, I am a massive fan of, so I always want him and her to succeed. Another one that has been announced or rumored, and it has yet to have any date or much information whatsoever, is My Hero Academia. Now, the only thing that is known is that the producer is going to be Joby Harold. I'm so sorry if I don't pronounce that right. I have no idea how to say it. But he has done work such as the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus, as well as John Wick Chapter 3. So you know that at least the action is going to be really good for this. If he had any hand in the Obi-Wan writing, then you know that it's going to be done really well as well for the writing portion of My Hero Academia. Now, that one has a lot of quirky characters, and of course they're heroes that all have a different talent, so it'll be really fun to see what exactly happens with that show. I would really like to see a great cast for that one, although whoever plays All Might is going to have some hefty shoes because you can't go wrong with either the Japanese or the English voice actor for that, so it'll be fun to see who does what. And the last adaptation that Netflix has rumored to say that they're going to do, again, is Death Note. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different. It is going to be a series instead of a movie adaptation, but the individuals that are going to be producing that is the Duffer Brothers for Stranger Things. So that's really exciting to hear that they've already got stuff planned after the last season of Stranger Things. Now, they have said because of Stranger Things having their last season, season 5, that it's going to be a bit before they can start on this. I think that they will do justice to the Death Note story, especially like creepy factor, because they do really well with creepy factor in Stranger Things, and I think they know how to better pace the story than what the movie did for Death Note. I think they're going to do a much better job for the next adaptation of Death Note, though I don't know why we chose Death Note again to do, even if the last one was awful. All I'm saying is that Willem Dafoe was a perfect demon, and I think that they should try and get him to do it again, because I think that was the best, probably only best thing that was for the Death Note adaptation the first go around. So overall, Netflix has got a lot of stuff that they've got planned. With Cowboy Bebop, they've already canned that one after the first season, and who knows what's going to happen with the One Piece one. I hope that it does really well with Oda being involved with it. Let's hope that he makes them do the right thing and actually stick to the storyline of One Piece so that it will succeed. Because I would love to see some stuff later in the future. Maybe some Sailor Moon. I would love to see something done like that. We don't talk about the other one. It never existed. No such thing exists. Do not look up Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon live action. So overall, Netflix does have a lot of stuff planned. Let's hope that it's good stuff planned. They are very well known for starting or announcing things and not finishing, or just saying, we're not interested anymore, so we're just going to can it and throw it to the side. So, Netflix, if you're listening, please do it right. Please do My Hero Academia right, because I will be very sad if you don't do that one right. Pokemon, it's really hard to mess up. It's a really good story, and they've got really cool characters, so, But with that, we will see you in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.